friends, welcome back. Today we'll be doing vibe coding using GitHub Copilot. So to do that, first let's open Visual Studio Code. So this is the front screen with the welcome page, and in right hand section what you see is the chat section, and we'll be using that section to giving instructions to GitHub Copilot. And first let's create a folder where we'll be storing our code, generated code. So I have this vibe coding, and inside that this math evaluator. So I will be add, I'll be clicking this add folder to workspace, and I will be giving that folder. So that folder is desktop, vibe coding, and math evaluator. So this is the folder. I added it to the workspace. So now this folder is in the workspace, and what I'll do is I'll come to this chat section. I'll be explaining it quickly. So this is the model. These are the models rather, which are available for GitHub Copilot to be used. And for now, I'll be using GPT 4.0, and I'll be using agent mode here. We can use ask mode as well, but I prefer agent mode, so I'll be using it now for this video demonstration. What I want to do, I want to create a small application which is Java based, preferably Spring Boot application. And what I'll be doing, I'll give all the instructions what I need in that application, and I'll ask GitHub Copilot to generate that code for that application, and I'll validate those codes and changes, and I'll test it. There will be errors coming. If you can, means you'll see that in future there will be multiple errors will come, and hopefully we'll be able to resolve them through GitHub Copilot by sending the instructions to GitHub Copilot, and GitHub Copilot will resolve those errors, and it will build the final product, which we should able to test it. So without wasting any more time, let's give the instruction. So the instruction will be use math evaluator as my workspace and generate the application code inside this folder. Then next instruction is generate a Spring Boot application with JDK 17 to create a web application where using JSP as content UI. Okay. Next is add all the necessary dependencies into the form with proper versions, and also do not forget to add the JSTL libraries for the JSPs. Why I said this, I did another program couple of days back where it meets the JSTL libraries, and it spent lots of time to identify that okay, what is missing, why the front ends are not working. So this time I gave this instruction. What else? Uh, instead of using any database, so I can create a database as well. In the application, the application there will be 10 6th grade math questions with four multiple options, and one of them is correct. Show the questions and answers to the user, and when user submit the answers, show if the answer answer is correct or and also correct or incorrect, and also show the final score. For now, put the questions and answers to a static file like JSON. Use CSS to make the UI attractive. I think this is good enough instruction. We can start with it. Okay. Create proper folder structure for the Spring Boot application. So this is good enough to start with, and then we'll be giving more instructions whenever is needed. So I'll submit this or send this prompt. Let's see what it does. So it's generating a plan. If you say it says okay, we will do this whatever I said. So let me know if you would like to proceed. So interesting. Please proceed. I said please proceed. Now looks like inside Math Evaluator, it's created another folder called Math Evaluator. Uh, Maybe basically I gave another means different name, so it's created another folder inside Math Evaluator. Looks like created. Oh no. So this is the package it's created. Okay, so this is good. So if you see here, this is read. It says read, so it's read this folder, and then it's created this one, which is a package. If you can see source main java com example math evaluator, it's created pom, and all these files it's created, and it's clearly mentioning what it is creating and where they will use. So if you see here, 8 files change. So it's created 8 files here. All these files are mentioned here, and it's added 257 lines into those 8 files, and somehow mistakenly it's added few other lines which is not needed, so it's removed those, which is in red it's showing -8. So if I it says like, do you want to keep these changes? Yes, of course I want to keep these changes, right? So when I'll keep them, these files are saved. Now inside this math evaluator, if you see the source folder and all the files here, so it has created a controller. So at this point, we don't need a service or utility or domain services and so many things we don't need at this point, because in the interest of this simple program, right? So it has only created a controller and it has created resource. So resource, it has static, we have the CSS styles, which I said to add to make it attractive, the front end. It has application.properties. It says, okay, server port is 8080, means this application will run on 8080, and this is the context path, subnet context path, meta evaluator, and logging, it's adding the logging and it is in info mode. That's good. Questions.json, it has all these questions and answers. So it has created simple question answer. Later on we can store them in database and we can change these questions and all answers all together. And then inside this web app folder we have this questions.jsp and a result.jsp. So let's see what we have in question.jsp. So this is basically all the questions it has, and for each means there's a for loop, so the number of questions will come, options will come inside this loop, and this is looking good. And this is the result where the score will be showing. So first thing is question will show and then result will show. And let's see the controller. So controller has this blank mapping which will be opening the question page. So if we enter just localhost 8080 or slash, then it will come to this method and it will load the questions. If you see, it has load the questions. So it's first got the questions from this uh, file, question file, which is basically this question JSON. It's loading the questions inside this model under this key, and it's returning back to the question, which is the JSP. Basically, if you see the application properties, it says, okay, where it's not here, I don't see the mapping of the JSPs. So how it will map to questions? That is interesting to see. So it will return back basically to the questions, which will load this JSP. And since these questions we have loaded, it will get all the data from the question, and then it will get all these parameters loaded here, and questions will be showing, and these options will be showing. When someone will click the options and submit, it will come to this endpoint submit. You see here, right? The submit will form submit. So this endpoint, this method submit answer, and here it will decide if it's correct or not. It will do all the calculations here. It will generate the score. It will show the score, and it will see the total number of questions and it will return back to the result. So this is the result where it will show. So very simple. Till now we can add so many things to it. We can add the data into the databases and get a database connection. We can have a service written here and so many things. But for now, let's what do you want to install? Recommend extension pack? No, I don't want anything now. Can you build? You can now build and run this application. So it says you can build and run. So I'll do npm clean install. So I'm trying to build the application now. Let's see. I see some error. Okay, dependency version. See, dependency are missing. So what I need to do, I need to share this error here and say resolve this build error. Resolve this build errors. Basically, at this point, there are lots of issues in POM. So it's reading the POM based on the error I gave, and it will try to resolve all those errors. There are, so if you see, it's reading and now it's adding all these versions. So all these versions were missing. If you see the green ones, it's added. So it's added 11 lines, new 11 lines. All these versions things are, it has added now. Okay, so JSTL was everything, all the versions were missing. So now we'll keep it and we will, here we'll skip it, but dependency version, it says, okay, build it again. So I'll build it again. So I'll give the command here and then I will build it again to see if the builds are going through now. Looks like builds are going through. So this is the terminal section where you can put your own commands, or else here they will show you the commands, you just need to accept it. Since I know the commands, I can directly write it down inside the terminal. Now, still building. Basically, the first time it's building, so it's downloading the dependencies. If you see, it's showing Spring AOP 5.3.29 jar, so it's downloading from the repo, Maven repo, and it's storing in my local repo. It will take some time to download all these dependencies, and this is one time. If we add new dependencies, then obviously it will download the new dependency again, but for the same dependency, next time when I build, it will use my local repo for these dependencies. So bear with me for some time to get this build, and still downloading lots of dependencies. So while it's building, let's discuss about this tool. This is awesome tools. For my work, I have generated lots of different applications which are complex, very complex, and in couple of hours, at max 4 hours, I have generated those applications which probably could take couple of weeks for me if I had to manually build them. Or yeah, means, so that's how this is my second base tool at this point. Obviously, ChatGPT is my first GenAI tool or application where I get lots of help day by day, and this is the second one. So I see uh, some error. It says source option 5 is no longer supported, use 7 or later. Target option 5 is no longer supported. Okay. So there are still some form related changes are needed. What I'll do, I'll pass this data resolve error and see the form where saying that. and it's reading through up here. Okay, so this Maven plugin, uh, the source and target, it was wrong. So now I'll skip it here and I'll run it clear and then run this main clean install again. So this time it won't take that much time because it won't download those files again. So if you see, this time build will be much quicker, and it is now actually uh, it's almost complete. It's generating the var, but it's giving some error. Why? Some cannot access default field properties. Okay, this is a code issue. Inject unable to publish constructor. Okay, so resolve the field. I will do again. So as I said, right, there will be lots of issues coming because it's almost impossible at this point where their intelligence are for this Gen AI tools. It cannot make everything accurate, but slowly, when you will provide those errors, it will try to correct it, and eventually it will build an application with almost 99% correct code. So it's again trying to build it. Now build is success. If you see, so now it has resolved all the dependencies and plugins, and now this POM is correct, and build is done. So now next is I'll be running this application in input colon run to run the application, and uh, this will be running on which port? 8080. So let's see. Uh, if you are using for this first time, you will be really feeling like it's some magics are happening. Means when first time I used it, that was several months back, maybe beginning of the year. Uh, yeah, I was amazed. Means whatever I could do in a week, it can do in couple of hours. So that's the benefits which you get from this tool. So it's quite downloading. It's again building it. Let's see, again downloading the charts. Not sure why. But yeah, overall, this is how we will move ahead. Now, after doing this, if we need to add, say, services and database connections, we can pass that informations here to the agent, and it will generate files as needed, and it will connect to the database and everything. We'll still wait to see when this application runs. So yeah, now it's starting the Spring Boot application. You see this symbol and it started. If you see here, Tomcat started on port 8080, started math evaluator application. So what I'll be doing here, I'll be http colon double slash localhost 8080. I'll hit this and it says status 404 not found, which is interesting. Why it says 404 not found? Let's see the controller. Controller is this one. It's supposed to come here. Uh, I'll ask to implement an index.jsp. Okay, tell it what to do. Uh, for example, add one index.jsp and add a link to the JSP to navigate to questions.jsp. JSP present echo is showing. What are we saying? Also can check here the network tab by doing local host tab. Just checking the spelling is correct or not. Yep, at this point we are getting 404 not found. So we need to tell it. At this point it's showing now. Let it check why it says the resource is not found. It's not finding this call, this one. So application has been created with a link navigated. Okay, keep it. Now let's see. It hasn't changed that controller yet. It's added an index.jsp. Okay. Here it is missing. Now we have added it actually. You see path JSP. Is it correct? Web apps, web and views, JSP is correct. Okay. What I need to do to build this application again. And let's see what index.jsp is doing. Index.jsp is saying button start question here. Okay. So first thing index.jsp. There's a few confusion here. So how index.jsp will be loading? It will come file list. No, don't load index.jsp. Because of this controller, it will always come here. Let's see. So let's see. Okay, so you see index.jsp hasn't been loaded. As I said, I means this implementation is wrong because this JSP is correct, but and from here also this is correct. Load body and this after clicking the start button, this will go to this controller and this mapping, and then it will load the questions. The problem is index.jsp is not on the welcome file list, right? So index.jsp is not working. And I'm okay. We don't need to load index.jsp, but we need to fix this one. We need to say that, okay, let's fix it. How to do that? Mm, First of all, I'll say this one, questions.jsp, right? So once when I click it, if you see, I click this question.jsp. So this is coming inside this context. So this is the current file context. Now I'll say that questions.jsp is not showing the questions and answers. Please. So why it is not showing? Let's see. It is, yeah. So this was the option. This was question.text, and also it's changing now. If you see, it's modified this file questions.jsp, which I just showed it that okay, there is an issue in this question.jsp. Please fix it. And now what I have to do? Control C. I have to build this application again, and so you see this target is getting built again. Finally, what we'll do, we'll remove this index.jsp because this is of no use at this point. We are not loading it. We are basically using this endpoint, this one, and we are loading the question when we are hitting localhost 80. Let's run the application and then test it again. Then started. Let's do it again. This network tab, then it again. Now you see, now with this change, it is working, and this is how this application is looking at this point. We can change it. We can change look and feel, and then we can have one answer in one page, and then next can go to the next page. Like that, we can do that. But for now, let's try to see the end result. I'll be quickly trying to do it. Let's see how many are correct and wrong. Okay. Let's see the result. Okay, your result, you scored 10 out of 10, try again. So this is good. At this point, it's kind of a working solution or working application. We can play with it Like I can say uh, delete. I am just clicking this index so that bring it in the context. Delete index.jsp as we are not loading it, and it should delete this file. Tell, so it says allow. Okay, now it will remove. I could delete it manually, but I can also ask it to delete that index.jsp. So if you see, it has deleted. And why it's pointing to this one? The index.jsp has been successfully deleted. Let me know. No, this is okay. This is using by the default localhost HTTP, localhost 8080 endpoint. So this is kind of it for this project. Maybe I can do one more video where I can modify this program to add a next page for each question in the front end and add the static question and answer to a database. So that's what I can try to do in a next video. This video is getting longer. I think people will lose interest if I make it more elongated video. But eventually, I believe you understood how to use GitHub Copilot to build a application with programming. So whatever we have seen in Google AI Studio, there we are not seeing whatever it's not actually respecting all our prompts where we are asking them to use a specific technology, use Spring Boot microservice, use this folder structure, and it's generating the application there as well, but it's not uh, agreeing with whatever we are prompting to Google AI Studio. But here, this is what everywhere in whole software industry, in IT industry, we are using uh, GitHub Copilot, and this is awesome tool. This is basically the best. The For me, it's the best tool. Maybe someone is using something else, and they are good at it, and then for them also maybe those tools are very helpful. But this is the best tool for me, and I hope I was able to demonstrate how to use this tool, just showing this live demo. And please try it. This is free. You can try it and let me know how it works for you. So stay with me. Please like and subscribe my channel, and I'll be come back with a new video soon. Thank you.